Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 5:30 in the morning. We are recording, and I've got my watercolors here, and I'm going to spritz them real quick so that they're nice and juicy later on. This is the time of day when we gather with our art friends, and we sketch and draw, and we talk about whatever the random object is we pulled from the Random Object Randomogrifier. I have my daughter talking to me in my ear this morning, and I need her to mute her computer because I can hear myself going back and forth. So I don't know how she's going to be able to hear the sound if she mutes the computer. But today we're going to draw this jaguar. In Britain they call it a jaguar. In the whole rest of the world, they just call it a jaguar. It's very similar to the mountain lion cougar puma we did a few weeks ago. Very similar lifestyle, very similar part of the world. But these are panthers. Mountain lions are in the puma family, and these are panthers. And the delineation, the way they come up with these delineations sometimes just kind of baffle me, because it's like they decide it's a panther because it has a bone that doesn't ossify the way other bones do. I'm like, dude, it's a cat. You know, just surely there's a visible cue to let you know that it's a puma or a panther that you can see from the outside. But no, it turns out that they have to find other ways of taxonomy, other ways to determine what they are, because they're too similar looking. It's kind of like the spotted dolphin we drew yesterday. If you played along yesterday, I put the reference photos in my community pages on my YouTube site, and you can play along. You can go to the picture and you can download it, and you can sketch along if you like. And if you do, post it and tag me, or email it to me at blade@artisticbiker.com, and I will use your works to share to inspire other people, which is the whole point of this. But yesterday we did a spotted dolphin, and the one of the ways to tell if it was an Atlantic spotted dolphin or a pan-tropical spotted dolphin was whether or not it was chunky. But you can't tell that if you're not looking at both of them. That's something you can only tell if you're looking at them together comparatively. Yes, the screen changer is on. My mother is asking in the chat room if the screen changer is on. And it is indeed. But like yesterday, I forgot to turn the screen changer on until we got done inking. But nobody noticed because we were too busy talking about spotted dolphins, and I get a little carried away with the science and information of it. I also forget that I'm drawing. Can't talk, party, kind of thing. Jaguars, when the Europeans first learned about jaguars, they were terrified of. These are big, mean cats. Great hunters, excellent hunters. And they're ambush hunters. They jump out of the woods at you, you know. But the indigenous peoples told them that as long as there were capybaras around, there's no reason to fear a jaguar. They won't bother the people as long as they have food. And there aren't very many accounts of jaguars attacking and killing people unprovoked. There are accounts of people harassing jaguars and getting cornered, and the jaguars getting cornered and reacting. But not many where the jaguar just jumped out and hunted people. And one website, and I'm not sure, I didn't really check the accuracy of it, but one website even went so far as to say the first recorded incident of a jaguar attack on a human was in 2008. And it was a provoked attack. The humans were harassing the jaguar and it was cornered. They have a really thick neck, really strong jaws. They are adapted to biting through the skulls of their prey. They're not like other cats. The other cats jump out at their prey and bite their necks and paralyze them or bleed them out real quick. Jaguars just bite them through the head, bite the whole skull. And at first they thought it was an adaptation to be able to eat sea turtles and river turtles because they've seen jaguars eat sea turtles and river turtles. But sea turtles and river turtles are, while they are a snack in a jaguar's diet, they are not a staple of jaguar's diet. So it's not likely that that adaptation came first. But it makes you wonder what did to make them bite and make them develop that kind of straw jawline where they can just bite through the head instead of, like most predators, starting with the soft underbelly. They fill a particular niche. They're in South and Central America. They come up into North America, a little bit into New Mexico, but not enough to say they are a North American animal. It's one of those things where a thing has been caught further north than it should have been, than it normally is. And they do have an active reserve in North America, in New Mexico. But it's not their area of operation, their standard area of operation. Central and South America is where you would normally expect to find a jaguar. I mentioned that they're in the panther family. That puts them in the same family as lions and tigers. Which is interesting to me because, like, the mountain lions are in the puma family, which is not a lion or tiger. It's the ocelots, and they're the small cats, where panthers are the big cats. Lions, tigers, leopards, and jaguars. Jaguars split off from the lions and tigers some 30 million years ago, and leopards split off from lions and tigers some 12 million years ago. But they both have spots. Jaguars have spots, and you can't really tell it on this one because he's melanistic, and melanistic means he's got a lot of melanin in his skin and fur to make him appear black, like a black panther. And he is black, and his offspring would be black. It's a genetic trait passed on through the generations, but he's not speciated by any stretch of the imagination. And he still has the rosettes. The jaguar spots are spots with spots within spots, meaning they have rosettes. They have circles. So they'll have a black spot, and you'll see like the tan color of the normal fur, and then you'll see a black circle, and then the tan color inside the black circle. That's how the jaguars do. Where leopards just have spots, and cheetahs just have spots. And you would think they would be related. And they are not. I mean, other than the fact that they're cats. They are not. Cheetahs are pumas. And interestingly enough, they think cheetahs are descendants of cougars. They think the cougars from South America went back across the Bering Straits and assumed the niche of cheetahs. And that's what confuses everybody, because these animals for years and years and years were able to go back and forth between the Bering Straits and share genetic material. So it's easy for us to look and say that's a puma, that's a panther because of the size, or because of this thing or that thing, but they shared genetic material across the Bering Straits for millennia, for thousands and thousands of years. Because of that, the lines are not so easily drawn. I noticed yesterday how close we are to finishing this sketchbook. And I began to wonder, I know that we're going to continue on with the ink and wash, but I began to wonder if we didn't want to change the style. and just stick to what we were doing with the full color ink and wash, or if we wanted to step up our game a little bit, go something like this, where I'm doing with the just doing the ink, just a flat out ink and wash, just pen it in and then use the watercolor blues and do the shading. I'm not sure where I want to go with that. It won't matter this morning because this is a melanistic Jaguar, and big chunks of him are black, dark black, especially in this lighting. Big chunks are dark black. Can't talk, farting. So we'll have to figure out what we want to do because we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days left. By Sunday we'll be in a new book. Hi Ivy. Did I say hi already? I'm not sure. I'm talking to Straw Baby in my head. So I don't want to paint, I don't really want to use black. Black is dull. I'm going to go with the charcoal, which is a very watered down black. You'll get the impression that it's black without actually using black, but it'll leave the blue parts darker. Like that. How are we doing on time? Oh, good Lord, it's already 5:50. I'm in my own little world this morning. Ivy says you're in your own little world this morning. It's like after I eat beans, I just sit in my own little cloud. Nobody bothers me in my own little cloud. I love watching paint dry. Watching paint dry is one of the things that gets me up out of bed in the morning. I lay there in bed and I think, man, I'm not sure I want to get up, but I get to watch paint dry. I can't hear you. What did you say? Comedy Central. My daughter is saying, have you thought about doing Comedy Central after this? I can't understand you. I'm sorry. You're speaking to my deaf ear. Now she's laughing at my deafness. Colored pencil. She said, she didn't say Comedy Central, she said colored pencil. I'd say I need to get my ears checked, but I mean, that's a given. All right, I'm gonna try that one more time. I just felt like that needed the watercolors. One of the fun things about watercolors is they dry lighter than they go on. So I'm not opposed to colored pencils. They're suggesting in the chat and in my ear that when we change books, we change to colored pencils. I'm not opposed to colored pencils, but the other book like this is still a watercolor book, and I'm not too keen on doing colored pencils in a watercolor book. Only because of the texture of the page. Doesn't lend itself too well to the blending of the colored pencils. And so we might do colored pencils in the future, but I think for the foreseeable, at least for the next month, we're going to finish out the other book that I have that's just like this one, which means it's still going to be ink and wash. Or maybe it'll just be watercolor. Maybe it'll just be watercolor. But it won't be colored pencil, and it won't be graphite, because I don't like the texture of the page for that. Jaguars, the particular niche that jaguars fill in Central and South America is, like I said, they were deep jungle cats. The rosette spots are camouflage because they're day hunters. Sometimes they're night hunters depending on their prey, but they're day hunters, and the light from the sun spots the jungle floor. And so the spots make it look like a shadow spotted shadow spotted jungle floor, and hide them from the prey. In the area where they are, they do compete with mountain lions, but typically they take the larger prey. Mountain lions, cougars take the smaller prey, pumas take the smaller prey, and the jaguars are in the deep forest, deep jungle, and the cougars are more in the open plains. What is today? The 11th? They're threatened by habitat loss. And what many of the countries are doing now is they're figuring out corridors. There's pockets of them around the countryside, and they're figuring out corridors so that the jaguars can move freely from one pocket to another pocket without interacting with society and without being hit by passing cars, and still being able to spread genetic diversity from pocket to pocket to pocket. They're primarily solitary animals. They only come together to mate, and if they come together, if the males come in contact with kittens, they will eat them. So there's not a whole lot of social interaction there. Let's see here. Overhead, like this one, lets you see them compared like that. Ivy said on her channel the other day, Dee Dee Phoenix, she said that the artist that did the coloring book that she's working in stopped by her channel. That's pretty awesome. My mom says we should stick with grayscale watercolor. In the chat, is what she's saying. She is. I like the grayscale watercolor too. I think it's a unique look. It's not that we don't like your watercolor pencil idea. My little girl is in my ear saying, "What about my watercolor pencil idea?" She's not being whiny. I'm making that part up. But why is there an ugly face? Oh wait, turn the camera around. It's not that I don't like the colored pencil idea. It is that the paper that I'm going to be using is not. I don't feel like it's suitable for colored pencil. But we may do colored pencil in the future. I have a set of colored pencils that I bought just so I could go back and highlight that toucan the other day. I didn't like the way that toucan, the colors were so obscured on that toucan. But here is the finished product. Here is what we ended up with from my perspective. A little jaguar. And we talked today about their origin, their history, their lifestyle, and their conservation efforts. And I think that's fun. Oh, you know what? My daughter didn't pull me an egg for tomorrow. Let me pull an egg real quick. Let's see. Let's see. She says, "Oh no, I'll run downstairs." Let's see what tomorrow's is. They like to do it. The little kids like to pull the object from the random object randomogrifier. They think that's fun. What do we have tomorrow? A frontier hunter. Does it tell us which frontier hunter? I mean, I'm sure it does. Settler with a musket is what it says. Face. It says it's a settler with a musket. That's very similar to the Jacob's cross we drew the other day. I'm not sure. We'll see whether or not I want to actually do that one. I may lay him down on his side. I may lay him down like that or something to do something different, because that's very similar to the guy with the Jacob's cross we did the other day. So, guys, that's the show for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to this every day. It keeps me accountable to my art practice. Come down here and art with my art buddies. Be sure and tune in tomorrow. Same Artistic Biker time, same Artistic Biker channel. And then we dance. We dance until somebody says they see me dancing, because that is how I know that the lag has caught up with the stream and I won't be cut off in mid-sentence, because when